uh, it's usually a bad idea to divide these things up into part one and part two because usually that means nobody watches part two. But so be it. Nobody watches these videos anyway, basically. So what do I care, really? Um, all right, so it's like there's since Tyler Robinson was arrested and charged, there's been this aggressive contingent, and it's had a lot to do with Candace Owens. All right, and Candace Owens has brought in a lot of women. There are a lot of female viewers of Candace Owens, and she's like I don't know what I don't. I'm not sure what. I mean, it's not totally unlike. I mean, in the '80s, how women started watching Oprah. Candace Owens. Has I know she's out. She's got these out there. Uh, uh, takes on things that Oprah never had, but she still has this kind of look, girlfriend. Let me tell you, this she speaks with uh, with authority, and she's sort of like she's charismatic, and she reaches people, and women like her. Not all women. Obviously, there are women who don't like her, but she reaches women in a way that I don't think a man really really could. And she brings in uh, this female uh, viewership, and that I think otherwise wouldn't be there. But I think they're brought into it by her, and she starts doing her thing, and she starts she starts, like, she adopts this whole Tyler Robinson was framed. Tyler Robinson is a patsy. Mossad did it. That becomes her, like, her. She goes all in on that. Um, and then she starts talking about TPUSA and Erica Kirk, and the widow being a part of it. By the way, I know this is another minority opinion, but my feelings about Erica Kirk have not changed. I still think she's a widow. I still think she loved her husband, and I don't think she was in on the plot to kill him. And uh, I can't speak to any kind of like secret history that she might have had or anything like that. Uh, but like I haven't. That's like I'm this conspiracy guy. I'm on the conspiracy train, but when people start going off on Erica Kirk, I just can't go there with y'all. I can't do it. If you don't like her, if you think she's a phony, or a ditz, or if you think that she's like that you don't like that she was wearing leather pants and flirting, and you thought she was flirting with JD Vance. This was a while ago, but this was because you know uh, she she like hugged him, and she was wearing leather pants. People were like, "Ooh, something's happening there." JD JD's gonna divorce his wife and marry Erica. He's gonna wife up the widow. I thought that was all ridiculous. I didn't see any evidence of that. Okay, maybe the leather pants were, I mean, maybe you could critique her for that, for her fashion choice. Maybe it was inappropriate. I don't know, but I haven't been able to go with y'all with this whole Erica Kirk is is evil. I just can't. I don't see that. Erica Kirk wants. Well, like it seems like. I mean, I haven't. I don't pretend. I don't claim to have watched uh, Candace all that much. Um, and for me, a little bit of Candace goes a long way. But she's got her fans, and I understand why people like her. Um, you know, I've kind of had my fill of her. Um, but I get the appeal. I get uh, why she speaks to people, and especially why she speaks to women. Um, and I do think sort of the Oprah thing. It's like, oh, here's this cool black chick. Uh, I want to be girlfriends. I want her to be my girlfriend, you know, and she's relatable, and uh, it'd be so cool to have to hang out with her, that kind of thing. Um, so I believe that it's Candace who started, and it's the whole Tyler Robinson couldn't have done it. Tyler Robinson is innocent. Tyler Robinson is a patsy, and it's Mossad that took out Charlie Kirk, and that's where you know it's that or nothing. Uh, you know, that's our story, and we're sticking to it. That whole kind of thing, I haven't been able to. I haven't been able to resonate with that. All right, and it's not because I love Mossad. It's not because I'm an Israel supporter. Um, I just don't see. I don't see evidence. I don't see any evidence for Mossad involvement. Okay, I don't see evidence for CIA involvement. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean I don't think the CIA or the Mossad could could kill an innocent man, because they have, and they they would, and they have. But that doesn't mean that they did in this particular case. I mean, I think that sometimes that the crazed nut with an agenda uh, uh, could have acted alone, and this was one of those times. For the reasons I've already given in part one, uh, you know, so I don't need to repeat myself on that stuff. I don't think. But it boils down to Charlie Kirk was not was a soft target. He didn't have an extensive security team. Um, they weren't expecting a sniper, so you know, just like some random could kill you or could kill me, because who are we? I mean, actually, I don't know who you are. You might be somebody, but I'm not. They could take me out easy, and nobody would say, "Oh, where's Nowicki's security team?" you know, How was he able to get such a good shot at this high profile uh, person like Andy Nowicki? Nobody would say that. And of course, Charlie Kirk was. I'm not saying that Charlie Kirk wasn't an important person, or that he wasn't, a. They didn't have clout, and they didn't. He wasn't friends with a lot of people in high places. But generally speaking, he was not. He was just not a hard target. Okay, so anyway, I've talked about that already. But anyhow, uh, The Tyler Robinson case is just something where I don't like. What are we like? It's sort of like I'm thinking, what are we doing here? What's happening with this? Uh, you have this Trantifa guy, this Trantifa adjacent guy, uh, who we know hates Charlie Kirk, hates conservative people, hates right wing people, thinks that we're all Nazis, and that we should all get punched in the face or shot. Well, preferably both. Um, and yet you want to say, oh well, uh, the transcripts that they came up with supposedly uh, showing Tyler Robinson talking to his lover, uh, uh, Lance Twigs. That's his name, I think. You know that's all. They probably just made that up. That's like people were actually going over that the the transcripts and saying this isn't how this isn't how two Gen X guys would talk to each other. Like what the you don't know. You don't know these people. You don't know how they would talk to each other. Like the you think, oh, he calls him my love. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. Why not? Why the hell not? Why would he not? Why would Tyler Robinson not call the person that he's in love with my love? You know, why not? You just act like, oh, that's just ridiculous. You just roll your eyes and you make memes about it and stuff. But like, I mean, just having just being sarcastic is not an argument. Just being dismissive is not an argument. Okay, and this is the like, it's sort of it, and this is I'm going to make the transition now to the Lindsay Clancy case. I had to look up her name because yes, uh, I do think these two, the way that the Tyler Robinson case is being discussed and the way the Lindsay Clancy case is being discussed, I do think there's a lot of overlap there, and I dare say that a lot of the ladies who are into Candace uh, are are also on this bandwagon of Lindsay Clancy didn't do it, or if she did do it, she was it's because her husband tricked her into doing it, or something like you know. There's this the connection is women. Okay, I'm going to be open and say that the connection between these two cases, the way that they're talked about online, uh, is that they both involve uh, these female commentators who have this undeserved uh, this utterly undeserved feeling of expertise or something. You know, they think, oh well, look. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. Uh, I mean, it's worse. It's worse. It's worse than the Tyler Robinson stuff. Honestly, the kind of rhetoric I've heard employed in Lindsay Clancy's defense by some of these women on TikTok, these uh, these little Nancy Drews, these little Miss Marples, these little Agatha Christie's on TikTok. The kind of things I've heard them saying, it's like, oh my god, oh my god, I can't take it. I just can't take it anymore. I feel like jumping out of a window myself when I hear these women talk. Oh, oh. I mean, I don't. I've had my problems with Matt Walsh. I kind of don't. I kind of think he's just sort of way grumpier than he needs to be, and he's sort of he's a little bit annoying. But his commentary on this case was so on the money. He was so on the money. I don't think I can even um I can't really add much to what he says. So maybe I'll see if I can't. I'll be sure to include that video in the description. So if you haven't seen his video on this case, you can see it. But you have these women out there talking like, oh well, she couldn't have done it, or she she cared so much. She was such a good mother, and she needed help. And look, I'm not saying she didn't struggle. I'm sure she did. She killed her 3 kids. How do you women get behind that? How does, what, I mean, you women who are supposed to be pro-life, how do you get behind that? How do you defend somebody who did something like that? How do you see somebody who admitted to doing that, whose defense team admits that she did it, but said, well, she was just in this psychotic state, the state of temporary insanity, uh, because she was stuck in the house, and she was she was fighting this nasty postpartum depression, uh, and it became, this, and it drove her mad, and she just couldn't handle it anymore. Look, she methodically killed them, killed her 3 small children, and her youngest was 10 months old. Oh, and don't tell me, like if she didn't do it, why did she say that she did it? Why does her defense team say that she did it? I mean, the, the, so I mean, I know among her defenders there are those who say, uh, some of the things that they say. So there are those who say, well, it was really just her husband who did it, because her husband was, yeah, like, look at him, he looks like a psycho. Look at his eyes in this picture. He's psychotic, and we've seen enough narcissistic men. This whole, like, misandry comes in again. Misandry rears its ugly, ugly head yet again. And I don't think these are just liberal women. I think a lot of these are like Maha types. A lot of these are Candace Owen types. I mean, probably some of them are liberal feminists, but not all of them. I don't think. I think the standard profile, from what I can tell, transcends being on one side of the political aisle or the other. It's just it seems to be manifesting this kind of rage at husbands because women are just taught to hate their husbands. They're taught to hate men, and so they see this case where this woman kills her three beautiful young children, and they think, well, it must be the man. It's the man because men, I hate them. I mean, they don't say that. They don't go so far as to say that, but the way they talk about men is hateful. And the way they talk about her husband, uh, and and no, like they look. I'm normally I don't like if you believe in astrology, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'm not usually I'm not usually someone who comments on that or who mocks those kinds of things. But they're honestly talking like these women are honestly talking like, oh well, you know what, he's a. I found out he's a Gemini. He's a Gemini, and she's a Leo. Leos don't kill their own. They were actually saying this, but a Gemini. Oh yeah, he definitely would have. He definitely would do that, given that he's a Gemini. They're actually talking that way. I mean, I don't like just just listening to them, just listening to these women, um, and their little theories, their little uh, oh, you know what, if he did it, then or if she did it, then why was why this, why that, like all of these stupid points that aren't really points that don't make any sense, uh, and that aren't even. It's like they're trying to say they're trying to argue that he did it. That's not what her defense team is arguing. That's not what she said. You know, if he did it, can she not be trusted to say? I mean, they have to infantilize this woman. They have to say, oh well, she was in this state where she wanted to get help and nobody was helping her, and her husband didn't really care for her because we just know we can read the minds of these men and we know they don't care. Uh, and he's just another one of those. Plus, he's a Gemini. Plus, look at how he looks in this one picture. He looks so narcissistic here. Look at that narcissistic uh, glare. Um, like this is how they're talking. These are the kinds of things that they're saying. The case isn't even about that. The defense attorneys in the case are trying to argue that she can't be held responsible for what she did uh, because of this, the supposed psychosis that came over her. And it's the same argument. There was a woman in the '90s named Andrea Yates, had 5 children, drowned them all in the bathtub. So, like this is sort of in a way, this isn't really even new. Now, back then, there was no internet, there was no TikTok. Well, there was the internet, but there was nothing like it is now. There was no TikTok, there was no social media. Uh, there were probably still I mean, she's still got like positive press coverage or sympathetic press coverage. Saying, "Oh well, we don't really understand much about postpartum," and and so she was awarded, or she was found not guilty by reason of insanity because of the postpartum thing. And that meant she had to spend time, hospitalized, rather than in prison, which I don't know. Uh, for women, prison is not, let's face it, if you go to a women's prison, it's not the same kind of ordeals that a man has to deal with in prison with a bunch of other men. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to make that. I mean, I'm almost positive they're going to decide the same in this case. They're going to decide that she's not guilty by reason of insanity, and I think it's because somebody on that jury, probably more. I mean, no, there are women on that jury, and probably more than one of them is like these batty ditzy uh, TikTok women, uh, and who's just gonna approach it like, oh well, uh, the sisterhood's got to stick together, you know. Uh, we can't let this woman be held accountable for killing her children. This is what like. This should be something. This this should make women the rage that women should feel. It seems to me, uh, based on the maternal instinct, should be they should be raging uh, at this Clancy woman. They should be raging at Lindsay Clancy, uh, because you know the mama bear instinct should kick in. That's what you think. Except we live at a time where what percentage of women already kill their children? I mean, maybe they kill them in the womb, but I'm sorry. I think that has to figure in. What percentage of women have killed at least one child in the womb? A much higher percentage of the female population than any of us would like to believe. You know, unless we think there's nothing wrong with it, and then I guess I guess it doesn't matter. But the thing is, it does matter. There is no real difference. You know, it's a human life. It begins at conception. Conception is when this entity begins. There's no other point in its development when it can be said, okay, here is this being. The being starts to exist at conception. So if you're okay with killing it when it's still inside of you, then I mean maybe you're not quite so angry about the thought of uh, some other woman killing her children after they've been born. Maybe it just doesn't have the same. That's what I said. Like that was my reply, and I was kind of being a smartass, but I was kind of not. That was my reply to somebody on Substack who was saying we're all there. We're all we're all behind Lindsay Clancy. We're all coming together, behind, with her, and we just, we can all relate. We know what it's like, and uh, and and I said it's probably because a lot of y'all have killed your children. So, uh, again, I was kind of being a smartass. I was kind of being a shit stirrer, but I was kind of not. I was kind of also telling the sad truth. Um, and it is a sad truth. It's a sad, sobering truth. So, anyway, it seems to me you can tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you think I'm totally off base here. But it seems to me that Candace becoming the spokeswoman for for the Tyler Robinson case, uh, sort of started the ball rolling in this direction. And then when I keep forgetting this bitch's first name, Andrea Clancy, Lindsay Clancy. When the Lindsay Clancy case came up, it's like that became an extension of what the Tyler Robinson case was before. Now I know there are more men who don't believe that Tyler Robinson did it than there are men who are sympathetic to Lindsay Clancy. But that's just because that's just because of the Israel thing. It's because of the J question. Okay. Uh, there already were a lot of guys who were pretty hardcore on that whole front. What Candace did was bring in the women, and it's the women who have taken the ball and run with it, uh, and taken it to new uh, all time lows of rhetoric. Uh, just embarrassing. Just again, I don't know if I said this before, but again, I think if I were a woman, I would be embarrassed at the way some of these TikTok people are behaving. And again, this is kind of an about face for me because I've been pro internet sleuth. I've been an anti-establishment, pro internet sleuth kind of person. And I'm aware that with both the Tyler Robinson case and this case, you know, that the state is bringing a case against Tyler Robinson and against Lindsay Clancy, and I'm saying, yeah, the state is right in these cases. I mean, a stopped clock is right twice twice a day, right? So these are the two times when the stopped clock is right. And of course, these two times when the stopped clock is right, women are going to say that the stop that it's wrong. Course, of course they would, because of course they would. That's exactly when they would say that. Exactly when. Uh, all the times when the stop clock really is wrong, then they think it's right. But when it is right, then they think it's wrong. Could it really have been otherwise? Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to do any like this whole repeal the 19th thing. It's kind of cheap. Like I don't. I mean, I don't want to score any cheap rhetorical points here. Or I really don't want to be anti-woman. I really don't. Um, but a lot of y'all just like I just can't get with y'all anymore. I just you know, and I'm sure that really uh, whatever women are out there, I'm sure that just ruins your day, right? I'm sure it does. I will say this: if you are a woman, if you're one of the few women who watches my channel, and you think that Lindsay Clancy is a uh, sympathetic figure, and you think that we should go easy on her, you know, I basically don't want you around anymore. You can just stop watching. I mean, you're gonna do whatever you want, but I'll just tell you that. Like, this is my litmus test. If you're a Lindsay Clancy supporter, if you support this woman who strangled her three tiny children, if you support her because you hate men, because fuck her husband, and you know, if that's where you are, I don't want you. I don't want you around me. I'm not saying you can't go out and spit and spew your ridiculous ideas. I'm just saying I don't want you around me. Uh, so just do me a favor and don't watch my videos anymore. Uh, that's not what I should say. I should say, please tell me. Please, I want to understand, but I don't want to understand. That's the thing. I don't. Have no interest in trying to understand you, if that's who you are. Uh, I'm not that categorical about the Tyler Robinson case. I still think most of the case. I don't see. It's mostly pretty silly. But like, agree to disagree on that. But you're willing to stand in solidarity with a woman who does something so awful to her own children. That makes me wonder about you. That makes me think. That makes me think that you would also do something like what she did. And I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's. I don't. I don't. I don't think. Women. Who'll ever understand them? Uh, they're such a mystery. I don't. It doesn't make me. It doesn't make me feel that way. It makes me. It makes me feel absolute disgust for you. It makes me not want you to exist. I'm not. I'm not gonna. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. You know. It's not a threat because bad people exist, and you can't just. Uh, I mean, I think it makes you a bad person. I think you should, like Obi-Wan says, uh, go home and think over your life, reconsider the choices that you've made in your life. Whatever he says in Attack of the Clones to the guy trying to sell him the death sticks. I think that's what you should do. You should definitely re-examine things if that's where you're at. If your first instinct is to say, "Oh, Lindsay Clancy, I'm with you. I'm with you, girl. I'm with her." If that's you, something has gone really wrong. You know, and I don't normally talk that way. I don't normally say things like that. I don't normally like. I don't normally say like somebody to say you who somebody do. Sorry, I don't normally say to somebody who disagrees with me. Uh, I categorically find you repulsive, but in this case, yeah, I do. I do. So take a hint. make like a tree and get out of here, to quote Biff Tannen in Back to the Future 2. And that's it. That's where I'll wrap things up. I welcome any comments.